Rea Irvin was an American graphic artist. Although never formally credited as such, he served de facto as the first art editor of the New Yorker. He created the Eustace Tilley cover portrait and the New Yorker typeface. He first drew Tilley for the cover of the magazine's first issue on February 21, 1925. Tilley appeared annually on the magazine's cover every February until 1994. As one commentator has written, a truly modern bon vivant. Irvin was also a keen appreciator of the century of his birth. His high regard for both the careful artistry of the past and the gleam of the modern metropolis shines from the very first issue of the magazine. Early career. Born in San Francisco, he studied at the Mark Hopkins Art Institute for 6 months. Started his career as an unpaid cartoonist for the San Francisco Examiner. He also contributed to the San Francisco Evening Post. He also worked as an itinerant actor, newspaper illustrator, and piano player. In 1906 he moved to the East Coast. In the 1910s he contributed many illustrations to both Red Book magazine and its sister publication, Green Book. Before World War I, Irvin contributed illustrations regularly to Life, and rose to the position of art editor. Irvin also contributed to Cosmopolitan when it was a serious literary publication. He illustrated Wallace Irwin's Letters of a Japanese Schoolboy in Life. He would later incorporate Japanese imagery in satirical kakemono for the New Yorker. He also created a series of humorous advertisements for Murad cigarettes. He was fired from his position as art editor at Life in 1924. He also contributed the illustrations for Snood If You Must by Lucius Beebe, a noted raconteur of New York's Café Society. Career at the New Yorker. However, Irvin had joined an advisory board to help launch the New Yorker and then worked on the staff of the New Yorker as an illustrator and art editor. The magazine's first cover, of a dandy peering at a butterfly through a monocle, was drawn by Irvin. The dandy replaced at the last minute a drawing of theater curtains revealing the skyline of Manhattan. The gentleman on the original cover is referred to as Eustace Tilley, a character created for the New Yorker by Corey Ford. When he had taken the job at the New Yorker, Irvin had assumed that the magazine would fold after a few issues, but his work would appear on 169 covers of the New Yorker between 1925 and 1958, including, for example, the piece known as The Unity of the Allied Nations. This appeared on the cover for the July 1, 1944 issue, and depicts the national personifications of the Allies. Besides covers for the magazine, Irvin also drew various illustrations, department headings, caricatures, and cartoons. The New Yorker signature display typeface, used for its name plate and headlines and the masthead above the Talk of the Town section, is called Irvin or Irvin type, after him. An alphabet drawn by the American etcher Alan Lewis, who had received training in woodcutting in Paris, was used as the typographical basis for the Irvin type. Irvin may have spotted Lewis's lettering, which was drawn to imitate a woodcut, in a pamphlet entitled Journeys to Baghdad, and liked it so much that Irvin asked Lewis to create the entire alphabet. Uninterested in this project, Lewis suggested that Irvin create the alphabet himself. This became the Irvin type. He also added the New Yorker squiggly column rules. These provide a delineation between the text and illustrations. He was also responsible for the vertical cover strap that was used for the magazine's margins. According to James Thurber, the invaluable Irvin, artist, ex-actor, wit, and sophisticate about town and country, did more to develop the style and excellence of the New Yorker's drawings and covers than anyone else, and was the main and shining reason that the magazine's comic art in the first 2 years was far superior to its humorous prose. Quote, Emily Gordon has written that Irvin's own intimacy with classic form and craft, and his genial willingness to share that expertise, allowed him to create a complete device, a design, a typeface, a style, and a mood that would be instantly recognizable, and eminently effective, almost a century later. The Smythes. Irvin also created the comic strip The Smythes. It ran in the New York Herald Tribune during the early 1930s. Last week, famed cartoonist Rea Irvin broke into the funnies with a new full-page Sunday series. His title is The Smythes. His characters: the conventional father, mother, small son and amp daughter, Pekingese pup. His theme: the conventional burlesque of U.S. middle-class home life. Sample episode: Mrs. Smythe insists upon buying Pekingese, to utter disgust of Mr. Smythe, who snorts, "I don't know what you can see in that mutt." Mrs. Smythe, in desperation, goes to bed. Later, Tootums awakes and sneezes. Unable to arouse his wife, Smythe arises, grudgingly walks the floor with Tootums, finally melts, talks baby talk to Tootums, nurses it back to sleep. Whereupon Mrs. Smythe, awake, triumphantly mocks her husband, "I don't know what you can see in that mutt." Retirement. 6 years before his death, Irvin and his wife retired to a home in Frederiksted, St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. He died of a stroke there at age 90 on May 28, 1972.